during Russian-Ukraine war, it seemed like the international organization like UN had failed. If this is the case, when there is a chance of quarreling between the two great powers like USA and China, then there will be, with certainty we can say that UN can't play a better role than what it played right now. So in this scenario, all other nations whole the world should think an alternative to UN. Otherwise, it may, like what happened in Second World War, because League of Nations can't do anything.
What is the alternative?
So everyone should give a think and give it.
What is the viable option?
Sir, presently UN it's like a toothless tiger, sir, because it doesn't have.
So how do you make it a toothy tiger?
So we'll provide we'll you have to have reforms in UN, sir. First of all,
You have to have?
reforms in the or restructure the UN in certain level that it is like the greater parliament kind of every nation should fund it, and there should be have a.
Will India agree to that? Forget others.
Yes, sir, because right now we don't have any veto power in that UN organization.
No, it doesn't matter veto power or not. Would India agree to that?
Yes, sir. If it give a
Every small country will agree. Every big country will say go to hell. See, nation-state system is real. It may be replaced by something 100 years later. I do not know. But as of now, sovereignty, military might, except for the European Union economic policy and other policies, and the monopoly over state violence, they are all nation-state systems products. The UN can work only when a tiny country is violating the rules and everybody, the big brothers, the big boys agree that they must be punished. Whether it's Congo crisis or Korean crisis or something else. If more than a tiny country, a big country, particularly with nuclear weapons, breaks the rules with impunity, there's nothing the UN or anybody else can do, because there's no viable answer to the problem. There is a problem. In an increasingly globalized world, can nation-state system work? That is the real question. Obviously, there are deficiencies, but there is no substitute to nation-state system at this point of time. We, in India, we are not willing to give that up. The moment somebody tries to tell us what we should do, we say, get lost. It's my country. We'll take care of ourselves. You don't have to tell us. If you're a small country, maybe somebody can bully us, conquer us. If you're a big enough country, and particularly with massive weaponry and nuclear weapons, nobody can bully anybody. So far, things were within reasonable control because there was a broad acceptance of the global norms that you will not use nuclear weapons even if you have them. Two, you will not conquer another country. You may invade for a purpose, but never with the intention to annex it or to alter the boundaries with force. Post Second World War, these rules have been followed by all the big players. If small players did not, the big players could punish them. Saddam Hussein went and conquered Kuwait. The big players came together, the whole world came together, punished him. But the big players never did it. Neither Russia nor America, nor Soviet Union ever conquered a country for annexation.
So, but Crimean Peninsula has been conquered by the.
That's what I'm saying. So Russia is now breaching the rules, the basic rules of conduct in a post-Second World War world. China is breaching it by simply saying boo to the law of the seas, the international law of the seas. The law of the seas for centuries, even before the law of the seas was codified earlier in the 20th century, it was universally accepted that what is an island? An island is something that is permanently visible in high tide or low tide round the year. China changed the definition. They said, sometimes it is visible, therefore to me it's an island, it's my territory. They simply reclaimed the land, put some soil there, they're building the military installations. Nobody knows what to do because it was never ever violated. Even a British Empire with its height, Britain never violated. The Dutch Empire never violated. America never violated. Russia never violated. China is saying to hell with you. What do? Do you wage a war against China? So when major players with enormous power are ignoring the fundamental rules of the game, we have no answers. We are trying our own best. And sometimes we are hitting ourselves, shooting ourselves in the foot. By imposing sanctions on Russia in respect of oil and gas, oil in this case, we are hurting the whole world. Russia is not the one that's hurting. Paradoxically, Russia is benefiting in the short term because the price is rising. They get in the benefit. We are all paying the price, the rest of the world. Europeans in the form of terrible suffering in the wake of winter. All of us because of price rise. Economies are in doldrums. Venezuela, we imposed oil sanctions. Iran, oil sanctions. Russia, oil sanctions. Together, their peak oil production is about 22 million barrels a day. And without oil, the world does not exist today. So we are paying the price. So the response also was not particularly smart. It was well meant, genuine. Russia needs to be punished. But we are punishing ourselves in the process instead of punishing Russia. But there are no easy answers. And if Russia succeeds in either conquering Ukraine or taking over significant parts of Ukrainian territory without any impunity, it will be a disaster for the world. Because tomorrow another big player can simply conquer a neighboring small country. So the stakes are very high. Ukrainian people are fighting very bravely at enormous personal cost, incredible cost. And some problems have no easy solutions. But there is no other system. How will I accept it? How will America accept? How will China accept? How will Russia accept? Will anybody say, yeah, we all agree? No. They say, get lost. So nation-state system is real, substantive. Maybe 100 years later, it's not easy even then, but we don't know. Something may happen. So we live in an imperfect world, increasingly globalized but imperfect world, where nation-states are still the players, not merely dominant, but they are the players.
Because once upon a time, Europe used to be like that, sir, but after Second World War, they come.
No, Europe is making an effort, but you're also seeing the pushback. Britain went back, and sometimes common monetary policy may not be the best thing. There are some good things about Europe. There are also bad things. If my country is not a comparative disadvantage compared to your country, but if I have common currency and common monetary policy, I don't have the ability to devalue my currency and make my products more competitive. And there's no economic policy or monetary policy within a country, then you have a problem. That's why Greece, increasingly Italy, Spain, other countries, they're all feeling the pinch. So it's not easy. But they're making a valiant effort because Europe paid a very heavy price with wars. They're very idealistic. Therefore, they're making a valiant effort. So that could well be a prototype of what will happen in the future, but it will take at the very least about 100 years. Remember, European thing started with European coal and steel society. A man called Monet, he was the equivalent of cabinet secretary in France, a bureaucrat was actually behind it. 60 years ago, 70 years ago. And even now, there's no complete European unification. So it will take probably another 100 years or 150 years for the world to come to some clarity, some understanding, a viable understanding of what is the supranational order that can be built which is actually viable and effective. We are nowhere near that. So UN is a talking shop. It has always been a talking shop. But it's better to talk and shout at each other in the UN rather than go and fight with arms. While it's not a solution, we need something. At least some moral persuasion. At least some global community shows, no, it's
little bit economic sanctions.
Yeah. Some economic sanctions, they may work, they may not work.
May work, may not.
So there are no easy answers. That is the very nature of nation-state system. Unless you reorder the nation-states and all nation-states equal population, equal wealth, that never happens, right?
Like and subscribe Eagle Media Works.